it my dream to live on a farm. I didn't plan to live on a farm. I thought it would be cool to live somewhere in Hawaii and maybe like have some trees and like grow some stuff in a garden. The fact that this would be thrown on our lap as for us to steward and take care of and to finance. Yeah, I didn't expect it.
Hi, babies.
It's difficult to even use words to describe how grateful we are for the situation we're in. This place is so beautiful and so abundant, and it's helping us meet all of those needs. We're growing a lot of our own food and doing that in a communal way, which has become really, really important to us and for our kids.
What are those seeds? Oh my goodness.
Such cool seeds.
They're so amazing.
Ice
Look at that stone.
There's something courageous about living in community and to create harmony and peace with other living beings. And I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world.
In permaculture, what we're looking for is designing for thriving. A lot of people think that it's really mostly about food, but it's not. It's a design methodology for humans wherever they live.
For me and pretty much every being, to have a space where you can feel safe and at peace and supported and taken care of, it's essential. It's essential for your well-being.
This one's BT. We call her BT because she got a big bushy tail. And she's our most famous lady in the garden. Yeah, we love her.
Look at that, look at that.
We're gonna have dairy soon, and we're grazing our cows in a way that provides endless fertility, and we're growing a lot of our own food, and we're doing it in that permaculture, in that traditional ecological knowledge sort of way, where crops are interspersed with each other, we're not using chemicals, we're not monocropping, we're composting. I mean, it's literally all of they call it the dream of the earth is like on full display here, and we get to celebrate that and bring it up as a light, as an inspiration for the world.
Rainbow Bridge is an off-grid community eco-village farm building retreat center on the Hamakua coast of Hawaii. It's between two rivers, so it's a sliver of land that runs from about 200 feet elevation to 1,100 feet elevation. We're a fluctuating community of anywhere from typically 10 to 20 residents at any time. We have long-term residents that live here. We have work traders and people that come for short-term stays.
My name is Britt.
What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? Wow. I'm living and taking care of the earth and animals and living in community and sharing resources. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, living.
We're fully food, energy, and water sovereign, which is super unique. We still do buy things, but we wouldn't have to. If the ship stopped coming, we'd have plenty of food here and water and energy.
We also have rescue animals, so we are an animal sanctuary of sorts in some ways. We have cows and horses and one donkey and chickens, so
Lots of dogs.
and lots of dogs that keep showing up.
Grigor, you've lived here for 28 years. Can you tell me the story of how you came to live on this land?
I picked this place after 6 months of driving around and looking at thousands and thousands and thousands of acres all over the place. It was a sea of sugarcane. I mean, you couldn't see basically much of anything. The sugarcane was about 12 feet tall. So I started mowing sugarcane, and I was told that if I mowed it often enough, the sugarcane would die. So I got on my tractor and I started from the bottom of the property. It was a lot of hard work. I was mowing, I mowed for, oh gosh, I think the first 5 years that I was here, it was just almost constant mowing. That was 28 years ago. That was 28 years ago. I think I planted the seeds for this place in my heart and my mind a long time ago. I was just waiting for the right moment for it to come to fruition. I met Zach and Madeline at the right moment for the right reason, and we were on the same page.
So when we were first renting here, we just were exploring the land and really like feeling into this place, and it was really emerging like this sense of stewardship and caring for this place so much. And I was also having imagery in my mind of like laying my body on the ground because these trucks were driving in to cut down the trees and bulldoze the houses, because the likelihood of this place getting sold and then subdivided was really high. It's really common here on this coastline, subdivide the land, sell it off, build mansions, people's second homes. And so there were people actually touring the land, wanting to do that. They were like, oh yeah, we'll cut these trees down, we'll build our mansion here, we'll come out here a couple times a year. And we just felt this strong sense of like, no, that cannot happen. And so it was just about a month and a half after we had moved in, we had people touring here, and we really felt this strong sense of like, we can't let this happen. And so we decided to just take the risk and make an offer to Grigor's brother, who was the owner of the land.
All we have to do is make sure we get the loan and make sure we have the down payment. And it was amazing. All those things came about. And I found out that Zach, Madeline, and I were on the same page.
What I'm really trying to do is direct financial capital to help heal the other forms of capital that we've lost, and converting those forms of capital, relationships, our time with family, our spirituality. Like, we just don't have time to mess with that. Like, what are we in service to? What do we spend our time doing? We normally anxious about making money and security because we feel insecure. And I think we're going about that by trying to find security through abstraction. So like, tons of financial capital will somehow make me feel secure, but it doesn't ever seem to get there. At least it didn't for me. Like, I could have a lot and I'm like, well, I could see how I could lose it and then I'd be not okay. So all of my time and a lot of my effort and pretty much all my relationships, even where I lived, was all like in service to gaining more financial capital. And so this is an experiment on doing pretty much the opposite of that.
Living at Rainbow Bridge is a lot of work. It definitely is.
Move to Hawaii, they say. It'll be relaxing, they say. You'll sip and drink fresh pina coladas out of a coconut, they say. Oh, everybody is happy and relaxing on the beach, they say. Oh, you could just go to a nice little restaurant and have a Chardonnay. But most of my days look a lot like this.
On the other side.
There's rocks coming up behind you. Oh, big holes here. That's it.
Go chickies. This is a very temporary option just to prevent mongoose from either getting in to get the eggs, or if mongoose get hungry enough, they'll actually eat chickens. So it's kind of protecting our chickens' lives and also our eggs.
Why do you love gardening?
Oh man,
I love gardening because it brings me closest to the things that I love the most. It brings me closer to the land, to myself, to the people that I'm working with, and our food. It brings me closer to our sustenance. Yeah, it brings me closer to these beings that we live around, these plants that a lot of people don't even notice throughout their day. For me, permaculture is working as harmoniously as possible with the earth and the systems she already has in place. Permaculture is mimicking the jungle, the forest, as much as possible, and listening to the plants, listening to the ecosystems that have survived for as long as they have, and using that as teacher and example to grow food, to tend the land, to make the soil healthier, to make the animals healthier, to make us healthier.
So people talk about right livelihood. In permaculture, we talk about thrivelihood. Like, what does it mean to not only have that knowledge, but live in a thriving system that feeds you and you feed it? How do I, as a transplant, indigenize to this place? Learning the language of the place, learning the history of the place, meeting the elders, whatever it is we need to do to level up our knowledge of the place.
Permaculture to me is about creating your own ecosystem. Very simply. It's about working with the environment you have and making all systems flow together. Oh, this takes care of this takes care of that, this takes care of that.
So it's the word permanent agriculture kind of stuck together. So it's a design approach, it's a design methodology for resilient human communities. So for me, permaculture is a really broad brushstroke of all of the elements that we need to design into our system so that we can live large on a small footprint.
A lot of permaculture is about placement of where things are. Like, we don't want the chickens right next to the kitchen because, that's going to be loud. But we have them close enough that we can get the eggs easily and feed them easily.
Good morning, ladies!
Part of what it is to live at Rainbow Bridge is to grow enough of our own food to be able to be self-sufficient and food sovereign. And knowing how to do that, we know we don't want to use the traditional, the large-scale agricultural systems that are on display in the world because they're so extractive, they're mostly monoculture, there's a lot of poisons involved, and the land suffers. And it's also just not beautiful, let alone is it good for the earth or is it good for our bodies. And so we knew we had to rely on methods like permaculture, regenerative farming, traditional ecological knowledge. We knew we'd have to spend a lot of time meeting people that have lived on the island, especially the Hawaiian culture that knows what it is to sustain huge populations sustainably and without chemicals. It's like so much of the history of this island is available to those that are coming in a good way and are choosing to, put their pride aside, put their assumptions aside, and to talk. You've got to meet your neighbors. You've got to learn these different ways to flourish.
This is meant to share the wisdom with Ia here with us today from Maui. I'm so grateful he was willing to make time in his schedule and really just turning the time to him. I was at the farm convention in Maui a few months ago, and he was showing us the land that he's been stewarding and his philosophies and all the work he's doing in the world. And I was just like, as soon as we can get you out here, that'd be such a huge blessing to the Big Island community and to our farm. So thank you so much for coming.
Mahalo, Michael, for having me and for the community and the ohana out here for sharing this space and holding this space ultimately for our mea kanu, our plants, because really that's one of our biggest challenges in Hawaii, especially over the past 130 years of holding and saving space specifically for our endemic native plants and our endemic ecology. The Auwai model ultimately is utilizing essentially what this community and what our kupuna have done for thousands of years, which is incorporating ultimately our kupuna, our makua, our keiki, and interconnecting that with our mauka, muliwai, and makai, our mountains, our streams, and our oceans, and understanding that interconnection. To me, what is regenerative agriculture is ultimately regenerating our endemic ecology and malama aina in that way, so that we regenerate our soil so we can grow nutrient-dense food, because we know it's about nutrient density and not necessarily about quantity.
Garden Day at Rainbow Bridge is every Wednesday, 1 to 5. We party in the garden.
Oh, yeah, another good one.
Sometimes it's planting, sometimes it's building a new garden bed. There's lots of education that happens. I love to teach people about our plants, about planting in general, about growing your own food.
I've already learned way more here, and coming here a couple of times than I have anywhere else. So that's why this is a really special place.
When we're done in the garden and we've gotten our hands all dirty, we run up to the waterfall and we jump in, and that's a very magical experience. And then we come back down and we have a farm-to-table meal. At least 50 to 70% of the things we eat that night are from the garden. So it's just a wonderful opportunity to come and connect with the people who live here and the greater community, to step away from the city life, step away from the normal, come be in sanctuary for a little bit and play with some plants.
If I'm in your way, please just push me. This might trip on you. Yeah. I look at your face, huh?
Britt felt the intuitive nature to get up and go to the top of the hill this morning, the very top of our land, and she found this baby boy.
So there's these 2 trees at the top back corner of the land, and there was sun on them, and I was like, yeah. And there was Bubba. Well, I ended up calling him Bubba, and he was really, really in bad shape. He had a huge gouge through his mouth from a pig, we're assuming, and he was extremely starved and just in really horrible shape. I'm happy to foster him and take care of him. It's just like, it's we talked about this today, it's like a hard thing here because we can take in dogs, but then like
there's a limit.
There's a limit, number one, and number two, it's a commitment, and if people leave, and so it becomes the community dog, which, you know, not everybody wants to take care of a dog.
He's not doing super good, huh?
Yeah.
Baby?
That's a good boy. Good boy, Bubba.
That's a good boy.
He goes funny.
Good shape. Really out here. Snap's coming around. Well, today we had a break-in from the pigs, and wild pigs in Hawaii, especially Big Island, is a real factor for living here, for sure. So I'm already seeing the damage I think that Fern was reporting. She worked so hard, our garden manager, on this new swath of land. There's cassava, and which is an awesome crop, lots of good trees, and then you can see the pig damage. They came in and ran through all our mulch and kicked off the trees a little bit, and you know, it's not the end of the world, but if we don't figure out how they're getting in, that would be a problem. Oh, all this too. Boom, that's pig damage. So we're gonna go turn off the fence and then walk the perimeter and make sure there's no obvious spots for breaking in.
So today we are just gonna get in the hive. It's been about 2 to 3 weeks. We'll start at the back and just make our way forward, looking for disease, seeing how full they are, seeing how many bees they have. Oftentimes you can see if they have beetles or mites or moths. So we'll check for that and address it if there is. There's usually not, and we usually do this and we just get honey out of it.
so delicious, so sweet.
So I will show you how we compost, how we bring our food scraps from the kitchen to here, and the whole process start to finish. So this is the active bucket that we're dumping things in right now. We kind of spread it out on the pile as much as possible. We take a nice big wad of these leaves and we cover the food scraps. In about 2 to 3 months, this entire pile will be soil.
Wow.
It'll look just like soil, it'll smell fantastic,
yeah,
and it'll be ready to go into our beds. And that's compost.
Very cool. Nice.
All right, let's grab some tools.
Finally got an appointment with a vet for Friday to make sure that everything is okay, and we're on a list to get him neutered, and we're gonna foster him until a shelter will take him. Otherwise, we're just gonna take him and keep him and take care of him.
I wouldn't even call it a retreat, because I guess it is, but it's more of a fort.
Thank you.
Good morning, good morning.
We have these awesome morning meetings on Mondays and Fridays where each person sitting around in a circle gets to share about what's happening in their world.
I find that it's really easy for us, especially Zach, but I would say both of us, to really just like identify personally with everything going on here,
while the rest of the community listens lovingly. It's so magical because a lot of the problems that we feel we are so isolated on in life are truly being experienced by our next door neighbor. Every time I show up to these meetings, I learn that the people around me are all just mirrors experiencing super similar conflicts.
We're the hardest working hippies on the island!
Having a community to support me, and for my children, they get to learn from the beekeepers, they get to learn from the gardener, the farmer, the person who takes care of the horses, the person who's really into science, and they can find their own niche and what they're attracted to versus what I'm trying to, or, out of convenience or energy-wise, what I can offer.
Making meals should always be a community effort, and cleaning should be a community effort. Like, there's so many things in everyday life that we just wish we had a break from every now and then, right? And guess what? In community, you can.
For a single mom, a community means support, because they'll now have uncles and aunties and grandmas that can help with the child while they, sometimes just needing to take a shower or having 5 minutes is like a unbelievable gift.
Naomi and Michael have 2 kids, and I don't think any parent should be raising kids alone.
I want to be able to afford to live this way here, and to dream those dreams, and to tell that story without feeling too naive for believing that something more beautiful can come to life. Not sometime in the future, but now. And not with somebody else, but with me and these people around me, whose flaws I know. I want to believe that we could do it. And there's more people that are going to come that could help us do that too.
Hi, my name is Narayan Higgins. I am, for lack of a better term, the cow whisperer. Like, do you guys even touch manure? Or are you guys scared of it?
I'm kind of scared of it.
I thought I'm not scared of it at all. I love cow manure. I'll just put my hands in it, man. That's the good stuff.
We are basically implementing our small pasture grazing protocol that we are starting here at Rainbow Bridge. And with this rotation, the pastures will come back more green and lush. They'll have more grass to eat. They'll be eating like the cream of the crop rather than like eating it down to the bottom. They'll be eating like the top of the grass, which is the most nutritious part. And yeah, they'll be getting a lot more daily attention. So that's good.
We're gonna section this off into more or less 30 sections. So all of those cows are gonna be pooping in here for 24 hours. Each cow's gonna drop 2 or 3 poops. You got 15 cows, you're gonna have like 45, 50 of those patties all within a very nice concentrated area.
We are really benefiting from this pasturing program because they were at one time wandering and grazing over like 30 acres, and so it's really hard to collect the poop with fertilizer. A lot of human work to do that. Now with them in smaller areas, we can come through, collect it in a short time span, and then put it on the trees immediately.
Lion poop. Look at that.
Okay, Daniel, let's find a cow poop for the coconut trees. Can you see any? You see one over here? There we go. Yeah. Okay, which tree should we give it to? Do this one right here?
Yes.
Or should we do this one?
Do this one.
Oh, this one? Okay, we'll go with this one.
All the energy, you trace it all back, it all goes back to cow manure if you just think about it in those terms. And then you go, okay, great, but where does cow manure come from?
Yeah.
Well, the cow, duh. But
Yeah.
where are their inputs? Rain and sun.
Rain and
The
sun.
most available
Ubiquitous.
things, that are everywhere. And
Yeah.
grass, which is growing all over the world, being fought by, on this island right now, there's hundreds, maybe thousands of people fighting grass.
Me with a
Weed
weed
whacking,
whacker.
mowing, spraying poison, billions of dollars of technology to fight grass. Nature solved the problem millennia ago. Cows, sheep, goats, horses, all these animals. I think cows are the best for a number of reasons, but all of them have their place in nature. Nature's a symphony, it's not a solo. Nature has everything working together, and as soon as you want to like kill everything and only have one thing there, you're gonna run into problem after problem after problem. Cows help us thrive, and that's the symbiosis, right? And
They're all coming out here right now.
yeah, they heard us talking about them,
So this is like the epitome of human bovine symbiosis, right? A cow is literally an endless pot of gold. If you know how to treat them with love and respect, you will get endless gold from a cow. Oh, you got an itch, Lakshmi?
Community for me is how can we use our skill sets to show up. For me, it's building or landscaping. We really can get a lot done together. Like we have our daily meetings here on what projects we want to move forward. And just like yesterday, we all got together and we learned how to take care of our cows and how to set up paddocks and how to feed them and how to water them. We're learning how to work in harmony with these animals. They're, also helping us build soil and then growing things. And, nobody gets that from going to the store and buying their things from Vons. We're really invested in like shifting the footprint a little bit. Yeah.
Not everybody can just move to off-grid rural Hawaii, but ultimately the principles here that are filling my cup and filling my heart are present anywhere in the world when we value time in nature and when we value self-sufficiency and we value being close to community. And that's harder to find easily. It's not handed to you when you live in the city. There's no like ingrained culture of community building and ecological priority. And when you come to live in a place like Rainbow Bridge and you choose to live in community and off-grid, you get that 100-fold, and I would not choose to live any other way.
Thank you so much for watching this documentary and for everyone who made this film possible. Since the filming of this, we have continued to grow and evolve here at Rainbow Bridge. And as we grow, we welcome the support of builders, artists, and farmers to join us and support our vision. We as a community and farm exist in the spirit of the gift. If you're interested in gifting time, resources, financial contributions, or finding out other ways to get involved, please visit our website at rainbowbridgehawaii.com. Aloha.
And I'm hoping that it could be you, someone just to give my life some danger. Is that something you think you might do? My tired schemes and old routines and everything that I have done before used to help to pass the time, but now they just don't thrill me
Daniel, you were in a movie.
Yeah.
That's a movie. Yeah, that's a movie.
Yeah, in the movie.
You're in the movie.
And here's baby Gaby.
This is Gabriel.
I love you. I love you.
Epic. I think we're good, yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks, bro. Oh, man. We're freezing time right now.
I love that about my job.
Right.
I get to freeze time
Right.
and preserve it.
Right.